This is very unusual. So this was from 2018, but I think that this is a good title, Gender Insanity. So let's listen.
Hosted an event called Drag Queen Story Hour, and we witnessed parents taking their children as young as 2 inside to take part. Drag Queen Story Hour is advertised as an event that captures the imagination and play of childhood and gives kids glamorous, positive, and diverse role models. It is all part of a national initiative with more than 20 chapters across the country. Last summer, the Boston Public Library allowed drag queens dressed as Catholic nuns, called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, to read to kids. Princeton professor Robert P. George told CBN News it's dangerous to use the state to promote ideas that defy normal ideas about gender.
Well, it's a message about power. The group in question, the so-called Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, is sending a message that they have the power to enter into the public domain, a publicly funded institution, I believe, not a private one, and to essentially hold a catechism class for this new religion that they've created, a religion of hedonism, of self-indulgence. Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence say a religion of licentiousness.
At another, a man dressed in drag encouraged a young child to become a drag queen.
I would like to be a superhero.
Yeah, you could be a drag queen superhero.
Elizabeth Johnston, also known as the activist mommy, calls the issue surrounding gender confusion gender insanity.
Moms and daughters transitioning to the opposite sex together. We've got guys going into girls' locker rooms and bathrooms, and drag queens are reading stories to children in public libraries, thereby normalizing this behavior of men dressing up in high heels, a wig, a bra, and copious amounts of makeup. Whatever happened to puppet shows and craft day at the library?
One Virginia parent disagrees.
I think that we should say that everybody's different, and we should accept people for their differences, and that we should treat them as we would treat anybody else with just different tastes. Some people like pizza, some people don't like pizza, some people dress up like women, some people dress up like men.
More than 20 parents brought kids ages 2 to 8 to a Virginia Beach story hour, where Gillette Black, who is openly gay, dressed as a mermaid and read 3 books as part of an Under the Sea theme. Black wants to be a positive role model and says reading in drag makes it more fun for the kids.
Just to give them something extra to look forward to, the makeup, the glitter, it's going to keep them more in tune and more willing to listen and pay attention. They were all accepting. They all were happy about it and excited and giving me hugs and everything.
Library officials say the program highlights a need in its community.
The library has a strategic plan, and one of our big parts of our plan is inclusion and diversity. So we offer about 8,000 programs for children and adults a year, and we just wanted to make sure we cover a wide variety of interests and speak to all members of our community. So this program fell into that strategic action item.
But outraged residents argue the program will harm kids.
I think it's really unfortunate that our city isn't they're here to protect and keep us safe. And I'm not sure they're doing that for all the population, especially the children. Here they're going to get exposed to something that they're really not sure about and be confused.
And it doesn't stop there. Netflix plans to debut a gay-themed superhero show featuring cross-dressers called Super Drags. The activist mommy describes today's culture movements as an embarrassing moment in our nation's history.
We have become so open-minded that our brains are falling out. Truth and reality and science really mean nothing to the left. People are fighting their true biological identity, and Hollywood and the media are trying to pressure us to celebrate this.
2 more Drag Queen Story Hour events are planned for this Virginia Beach Library in August and September. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Yes, this is the heart of Kabbalah, the bringing the male and the female into one. And in a lot of cultures, the he, she transgender person is considered a holy one, a divine androgyne. This is all part of a religion. And I don't know that they didn't necessarily need that end of it, but this is a very, very good title. Strategic plan to implement new religion of adult indulgence and hedonism. Yes, that is absolutely true. That is such a phenomenal way to understand what's happening, which is so much different than that one father that was saying, well, we're all just different. Some people like pizza, some people don't like pizza. But really, at the heart of this is the formation of a new religion of self, and it's birthed in aberrant, strange philosophies that lead you back to Babylon. Yeah, that's very good. The comments are pretty good. Sodom and Gomorrah in larger format. Folks, this is your tax money being used. Now, the election is an illusion. You have no say. They just tell you you do. They continue to track forward, doing worse and worse, irrespective of who you elect, because uh, the blue and the red are all from the same. They're cut out of the same cloth. In other words, drag is hypersexualized. This is a very, very, very good point. And no world for little children to be exposed to. Here, let's get that up there. I mean, there's lots of good comments here. I just don't have time to go over everyone. This is very, very good too. Bam, bam. These men drag queens are imposing their sexual preference onto the children a decade before the children will be interested in having a sexual relationship. At least, at least. That's an extremely intelligent point. So did this library have a Christian come in to talk to the kids about Jesus? Since they claim to be open-minded, that was really brilliant. This is a really smart viewership. Like it. Just do it. This is why I don't like Explorer. Is there a heterosexual pride book reading day? That's really good too. See, these people are sharp. Look at that. Oh, lawsuit filed to stop drag queen story time. We'll have to hit that if we have enough time. I thought Virginia had escaped this insanity. I guess not. Abominations run rampant. Even so, come Lord Jesus. Oh, I see, Mr. Red T-shirt. You compare being a drag queen to the difference between liking pizza or spaghetti. So anyhow, this person's saying that you're comparing a drag queen to the difference between liking pizza or spaghetti. And I actually think they made a greater connection than that man did by, two different food products actually being compared, because that man, not that I recall, didn't even bring up the second thing. But yeah, I mean, he just deconstructs it down to a preference. It's this or this. They're all of that tolerant worldview that everything is equal, valid, true, and valuable, and that we don't employ any type of use of morals, ethics, or sense of right and wrong. And if you're a person that believes by yoking a 4-year-old to a man who is dressed as, and it's not just that they're dressed as a woman. It's not just that, although it's partly that. But if you noticed, Stephen, to take it a step further, and I'll try to get it up as quickly as I can if I can, their makeup is even almost like, what is the right word for that? It's not all of them, mind you. I'll try. Well, okay, so this one's actually half decent. So that one actually, in terms of makeup, is not who I am communicating my concern about. Um, It is almost to the point of, I don't know if demonic is the right word that I'm looking for, but some of them do their makeup very scary. Of course, I'm not finding that necessarily on this clip, but if you do, well, definitely these two. If we can get it back to that. Sometime before the Lord returns to the earth. They're not that one, because that one they kind of tried to do pretty. Of course, they're gonna, use that one as the most highly visible, pretty. Don't you just want to be pretty? But okay, this is the perfect example. Let me blow that up for you. It's very like monstery. I'm sure there's a better word for it than what I'm grappling with trying to find the right word. But do you understand what I'm saying? It's like monster chic, you know? This is not how people wear makeup, and for them to take it to this level, it really is this progression of evil. And to get your children involved in thinking that wearing, black and white makeup to that extent with all this other, and of course she's, a fabulous of indulgence. There's so many problems with that. And it's funny because I remember hearing Madonna say when her little girl Lourdes was, little. Now she's a grown woman, and quite beautiful, but not the point. And Madonna had said that she doesn't allow Lourdes to watch television. And I thought, you hypocrite. You do all the things that you do to indoctrinate our children, but when it comes to ruling your own home, and she, puts herself up as a feminist and all this kind of stuff. And she's a Kabbalist person. She doesn't want Hollywood influencing her child. So you see what I'm saying? Now they were using this word debauchery in the comments. I'm gonna put the original story in there so you can go check out the comments if you want to. But this issue of debauchery is a word that we don't use in our everyday language. It's old King James, King's English. And it actually means, this is good. And, they erase these words out of our vocabulary. I'm convinced through the control of language for a reason, for the control of ideas. So, sorry, I'm holding tea with one hand and trying to highlight with the other, and I just need 3 more fingers to stretch farther. Debauchery means to have an immoral conduct or be practicing harmful things or doing offensive things. And this could include activities like drunkenness, drug abuse, and sexual or immorality, or all 3. It could probably be more than that. But all of these things, and, my goodness, we can all testify that these are dangerous things and something that we would not want for our own children. And yet these people are bringing their children in and saying, here, get a big eyeful of this. Today we see it glamorized in Hollywood and in some ads, and debauchery is mentioned in the Bible and is not at all different from our secular definitions. And I'll put this down below too so you can see it if you want.